All right, let's just jump right in because today's story is something else. We're talking about a public servant, a guy who hadn't coded in 22 years, who just decided, you know what? I'm going to build a custom AI for my local government. And what that one decision could mean for everyone, well, it's pretty huge. So let's start with a really basic question. Do you think your local government can just fire up an AI like ChatGPT to help out? For all that day-to-day stuff, drafting documents, summarizing reports. It seems like a total no-brainer, right? An easy way to make things more efficient. Well, turns out it's not nearly that simple. And here's the crux of the problem. Commercial AI services, they run on external servers. Every single time you ask a question, your data gets shipped out, processed somewhere else, and then sent back. Now, for a government agency that's handling confidential stuff or, sensitive personal information, that's an absolute deal breaker. It is a massive security risk they just cannot afford to take. Now, this exact problem was staring a local district office in Sahagu, South Korea, right in the face. But, and this is where the story gets really good, instead of just waiting for some big tech company to maybe solve it for them, one of their own officials decided to tackle it himself. So let's meet our guy, Kim Myung-jin. Now, on the surface, he looks like your typical civil servant. He works in the Work Innovation Department, but he's got this secret weapon, a kind of superpower. In a past life, he was actually an IT developer. And that unique mix of public service know-how and tech skill, well, that turned out to be the key to everything. But there was a catch. A pretty big one, actually. A 22-year catch. Kim hadn't been a professional developer for over 2 decades. And in the tech world, that's basically a geological era. The tools, the programming languages, the whole way of doing things, it had all completely changed. So the question was, could he really bridge that massive gap? What drove him was this really powerful idea, a philosophy he lives by. The person who needs the tool is the best person to make it. That was it. That was his entire motivation. He just knew that civil servants, the people on the front lines who get the daily needs and all the legal red tape, they were the ones who could design the right tools. It was never just about the tech for him. It was about solving a real problem for his colleague. Okay, so he had the passion, he had the motivation. But what about the money, the resources? This is where his personal drive slammed right into a pretty brutal reality, and it turns this whole thing into a classic underdog story. You have to understand, building a custom AI from the ground up is normally this monumental task. It takes whole teams of specialized engineers, super powerful servers, and budgets that can easily run into the millions of dollars. It's really the playground of huge corporations and big-shot research labs. And this was Kim Myung-jin's entire budget, 9 million won. That's about $6,500 US. He even said that when he first saw that number, he just felt this wave of despair. With that tiny little pile of cash, he had to somehow get a server and build a working AI from scratch. And get this, he had to do it at lightning speed. The whole project, from getting the server in April to all the R&D in May and then launching the final product, took just 3 months, a single quarter. I mean, that timeline is almost unheard of for any government project, let alone building a brand new AI. So you got to be asking, how in the world was this even possible, right? How did one person with a 22-year gap in his resume and a budget smaller than a used car actually pull this off? The answer is just incredible. He used AI to teach himself AI. He literally relied on modern AI tools to learn new coding languages on the fly, using the tech to help him build the tech. And the result of that incredible 3-month sprint is a system that he named Sahaai. It's a combination of the district's name, Saha, and, of course, AI. And when you put it side by side with commercial options, the difference is just night and day. Commercial AI, external servers, potential security holes, and you're paying for every use. But Sahaai runs on the government's own internal network, so security is tight. And because he built it using open source software, it is completely 100% free for employees to use. The benefits here are just
Profound. You've got total security. All the conversation logs and files, they stay right there on the user's own computer, not some central server. The cost is zero. There are no limits on how much they can use it. But that last point, that's the real game changer. Because they built it in-house, they can update it immediately whenever a law or rule changes. That's a level of agility that's just impossible with those big outsourced IT projects.
So this is a fantastic local success story, no doubt. But the implications, they are so much bigger. Is it possible that this is actually a blueprint for an entire nation? This number right here is the key. 240. That's how many other local governments there are in South Korea. And as Kim Young-jin points out, their work environments, their daily tasks, their needs, they're all incredibly similar to his district in Sahagu. So what that means is his solution isn't just a one-off thing, it's highly scalable. And what's more, this little grassroots project, it perfectly aligns with South Korea's big national mission to develop its own sovereign AI, a project they call KAI. It just goes to show you that innovation doesn't always have to come from the top down. Sometimes a small, clever solution from the front lines can be a powerful boost to a huge national vision. So here's the bottom line. Kim Young-jin's story proves what can happen when you empower the person who actually needs the tool to be the one who builds it. It really leaves us with a fascinating question to chew on. We're always looking to Silicon Valley for the next big thing. But what if the most practical, the most impactful innovations are just waiting to be unlocked from right inside our own public institutions?